Okay, so there are a few goofs people might have made in the early game that might be holding back their progression. And even after having participated in all of the betas for this game, I made a bunch too. In this video, I'm just going to tell you the 5 ones I'm really kicking myself about the most. I'm Shrike, like, comment, and subscribe for more DNA content. Let's dive in. So I never made it to the end game in any of the betas, so I never really noticed how inefficient low-level farming was. And most of the rewarding content, or stronger weapons, secret letters, even demon wedges, are all locked behind your trial rank level. So this is number 1 for me. I focused more on playing and enjoying the game rather than hyper-focusing on pushing that trial level. And while I did enjoy myself, so it wasn't all bad, it has put me a bit behind many others who have already hit 55 and have 100% cleared the immersive theater, which is what I imagine will end up being the main endgame mode. So I do wish that I had focused a bit more on that rank level, for efficiency's sake. Number 2 is that it took me far too long to build Lynn. I used her in the betas and wasn't impressed by how locked in place and immobile she was during her ultimate. I thought it made her vulnerable, but it doesn't, because there are never any enemies left to attack her. There's only smoking piles of lacerated flesh and puddles of melted fat. So yeah, number 2 is pretty specific. I wish I had built Lynn a lot sooner. And not just because she's awesome, but also because the immersive theater this rotation very heavily favors the pyro element. And while we're on the topic, I'll just throw Margie in this section too. She's given to us for free immediately, and I didn't like her, but her passive buffs are the best in the game, and I severely underestimated her. Fantastic support for the Lynn team. The third mistake I made was not getting into fishing until just the other day. But not only does the fishing shop contain some incredibly valuable items, like the Twilight Thread for skill increasing later in the game, and track modules, but also Genimon level up material, but there are also other items to make the fishing grind even easier. You can buy rod upgrades, which makes the bar here bigger, but there are also different baits, which I suspect either slow the movement of the fish or increase the likelihood of catching rarer fish. It's most likely the latter. And speaking of which, each fish has its own unique movement, so with enough fishing, you'll be able to recognize what fish you've snagged and learn their movement patterns, making them much easier to catch. There is one other thing, and it's not explained very well, but each character has a trait, and one of those traits is Piscator, meaning that the character is skilled in fishing. Now this has to benefit us somehow, right? But this one actually doesn't have an effect while fishing as far as I can tell. I thought maybe it would make the catch bar climb faster, but no. It seems much like other traits, this only affects the expeditions you send your characters on. Here in the map, you click expeditions, and once you found them while exploring, you'll be able to just send them out on missions from here, and they'll have recommended traits that you want to match up. The fourth mistake I made, well, really not a mistake, but I missed Miraculous Bro Boxie in the Ice Lake sewers, located here, and didn't find him until much later. For those that don't know, this Genimon is probably the best one in the game. And not because it hits hard or buffs you or anything, but because it can sonar for treasure chests and other Genimon within 100 meters, which makes hunting those things far easier and a lot more fun. It also has a passive that sucks in loot from a radius and increases XP from enemies, as well as a chance of bonus loot drops. I should have been using him from day 1, he's that helpful. Especially if you're looking for some of those rarer passive Genimon like Deft or At Peace. And there's also another place you can get Boxie, in Lanza Fortress, located here. And 5 is along similar lines. I wish I hadn't ignored some of the respawning collectibles on the map, specifically the snowcap mushrooms in the sewers and the silverite in Glevum Pit, because you need both of them in pretty large quantities to make Genimon food. And without good food, you have a pretty high chance of missing out on those rare Genimon you come across. And if the feeding fails, that's it, you don't get to try again. Good Genimon aren't just for bragging rights either. Higher rarity ones have more passive slots, and the shiny ones are the only ones with 4, besides the Battle Pass one with the disturbingly human-sounding vocal cords. And a bonus one for getting to the end, I really wish I knew how much of a bottleneck these Luno Memento coins would be. They're used for crafting weapons, making Genimon food, leveling up skills. They're used for so much, and they can only be acquired from the Defense Commission here, which can't exactly be speedrun. Best you can hope for is to use some good loot doubling books here, and maybe go in with a friend so that they can use some books too, really maximizing your yield. Later game this won't be as much of an issue, but early game it's a real bottleneck, and I wish I'd been more aware of it sooner. So there it is. I hope this video helps somebody from making similar mistakes. We're all learning, and the more we share what we've learned, the better experience we'll all have. But with that being said, I'm gonna fly. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.